anymore. So we mentioned last time that, sort of the general rule is if you've already started something like a davar shebekdusha and you had a minyan, so as long as you still at least keep 6, then you don't, the minyan doesn't come to an end. We said so much so, even if you have beginning of Chazar Sashat, even for just the first bracha, you have a minyan, and then somebody walks out, you would continue to say the entire Chazar Sashat. You would continue to say the Chatzi Kaddish afterwards, after you said the Tachanun, and you go ahead and say Ashrei and Uval Tzion, and even the Kaddish that comes after Uval Tzion, because that Kaddish Sholem really relates to the Chazar Sashat, relates to the Amidah.
Do Kedusha too? As part of Chazar Sashat, you doing Kedusha?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. The entire full Chazar Sashat. And even the Kaddish to 2 Kaddishes after, the Chatzi Kaddish and then the Kaddish Shalom, which was said after. However, you would not, let's say it was a Monday or Thursday, you would not lane. Whereas the laning is considered as sort of a separate thing, and therefore you wouldn't read the Torah. And again, the Kaddish after Aleinu already, that obviously you're not saying, because Aleinu is sort of its own new thing. The truth is, you said by Aleinu, even if you start Aleinu, and they left, you wouldn't say the Kaddish after Aleinu. Now, just a couple other Kaddish itself. However, if somebody leaves in the middle of Kaddish, even as long as you still have 6, you would continue and you would finish saying the Kaddish. A lot of times people are just not aware that somebody steps out and there's suddenly this big tumult or whatever. I mean, obviously you don't want somebody to step out. You'd like to have the 10 there for the minyan. Ideal not to have somebody do it, but you don't need to stop the chazan because somebody walked out. Now, what if they went out in the middle of Kriyas HaTorah, in the middle of laning? So as long as they've already started the laning, you would continue and you would finish the laning. Now, what does that mean, finish the laning? So it's actually, you have to have said Birchas HaTorah. Meaning if the first bracha is said, not even Baruch Hu is not enough. Baruch Hu is just sort of like an introduction or whatever. It has to be that the first one who's got the first aliyah is starting the actual bracha. So that after Baruch Hu, after Baruch Hashem, after that's said, and then he's saying the bracha, and then somebody walks out. So then that's considered the start, and therefore you'd finish the kriya and the Chatzi Kaddish that comes after the laning as well, is all part of the reading. But you don't do any extra aliyahs, meaning you don't say if it's not Shabbos or whatever, so you don't say, okay, now we're going to do Hosafos or whatever. No, you do the bare minimum. And in fact, if they do leave at that point, you're also on a day when you're going to say maftir, there's no maftir. Maftir is considered extra, and therefore you wouldn't do maftir, and you don't do the haftorah either. What if they left, you finished reading maftir, and then they left. So you would say the haftorah, but without a bracha. You don't say the bracha on the haftorah. What if they left after you started the bracha on that? The person who's doing the haftorah starts the bracha on the haftorah, and then they leave. Right then they head for the kiddush club. So you don't have a minyan anymore. So then you would finish the entire haftarah, and you would do the brachas after the haftarah as well. And once you sort of started, so then you would complete it. Okay.